yeah, his thing in between. He was like, he would be in the store and he'd be like, my mom's never home. He'd always be like selling me on errands. And he'd be like, oh, I'll go to the store, get milk. Go to the store, buy your brother a Pokemon game. And we were like making fun of it like it was like you're talking to a guy and you're like, I don't know, Pokemon Sapphire, is that a thing? And be like, yeah, I could get Sapphire, Emerald, and be like, he wants Sapphire, make sure it's Sapphire. We also
That's
did that.
Sad.
We also, it was sad, but we also had Neil told one where him and Kayla went through McDonald's once and they got so much food that they felt so bad that they tried to convince the drive-through person that they had kids.
I've ordered an extra drink so that it's not like all this food and one drink, so that they know that it's just one person. I've done that. I'll be like, and another small Coke.
I told him, I was like, I've never really had that, but I sometimes have to go to Wendy's to get the breakfast, and I need the drive-through owner to know that I have a family. Like, I don't know, I gotta slip it in. Like, I'm not just a man in his pajamas at 9:30 on a Saturday buying, 14 fucking breakfast sandwiches. I'm gonna go home and just hurl this into my face.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. Welcome to a very impromptu and strange episode of a Horrible Gaming Podcast. Obviously, I am not split screen next to Neil in his weird beach/mushroom alien planet background. It's just me in my basement with my lovely wife, Melissa. Say hello, Melissa.
Hello.
And I introduced her. I've got it down now. Melissa likes introduction. Neil likes to do it himself. I got it down now, everybody. So listen, plans have changed a little bit. Adulting got in the way this week. We were recording on a Memorial Day weekend. Our wonderful child, Stella, as you guys have all heard before, turned 6 last Wednesday. Her birthday party was today. It was a very stressful and crazy weekend. Neil has also got in-laws, so he was running a little bit behind, and I wanted to get this done. So I hope you guys don't mind. I have roped my wife, who is just as tired as me, into doing this after a huge, long day outside.
Clearly, I prepared for my on-camera.
I got a shower. She didn't even get a shower.
No.
So it's rough.
And the lighting it's awful down here.
I need
a light in front.
Yeah, like a ring light, like a lot of
any light, like the light coming from behind. Like, feel like I look like I have a beard almost, like from shadows. I don't know.
I like it for that reason. It kind of shadows my blemishes. I feel like if there was a ring, it would just be like one of those look at all the places where you could fly an X-wing.
I don't have a beard. I just want to put that out there. Do you have a little sunburn from today?
But I
feel like I have what's the...
You're a little shadowy.
I feel like I've got
You also, the way we have to work this with the camera, the position, she's a little bit farther back. Yeah, I think if you were sitting where I was, you'd be all right.
Maybe.
So thank you to Melissa.
I'm sorry.
I was impressed. She had to make a run to the store real quick. Well, I finished putting our daughter to bed, and then Neil said that he was a little bit caught up with his in-laws and it was going to be a little bit late. And she got home, and I was just like, do you want to do the podcast? You could totally say no to this. Just hair frazzled and everything. And she was like, okay. And I was like, I cannot believe you said okay to this, to talk about video games that you don't know about. So
I know nothing of what we were going to speak of.
I don't really either. I have some odds and ends, and I don't think any of them are anything that remotely would interest but I just don't want to be in that weird, lonely space where I'm just talking to myself again.
That's
so
fine. You're just interrupting my watching the closing arguments on Johnny Depp trial from 2 days ago.
This trial is ridiculous.
It's amazing.
I avoid it like the plague, and it just follows me around.
I don't care about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. The trial is...
She's a legal person.
Very interesting.
In case you guys didn't know, she is the absolute best real estate paralegal on the planet. She is. She's humble, but she is. She's absolutely the best. I'll let her plug it at the end, but I'm going to plug it special here. Standing Rock Title in Kent for all of your title work needs.
In Ohio. Only licensed in Ohio. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Soon to be Pennsylvania, but only in Ohio.
Somebody from Britain.
Ohio, U.S.
Can you do our title work for a brownstone in the U.K.? No.
I know nothing about nothing overseas.
All right. We're taking way too long.
Yeah,
We've already digressed. This is great. So we're going to do this show just the two of us. Basically, it's going to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to still do fan interaction. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to do my odds and ends and then wrap it up. But before we do that, we've got to thank a couple of people as per se usual. You're not seeing the picture this time because there's no split screen between us, so I couldn't arrange it in a way. It's back there, but you can't see any of the icon. But if you could, it was designed by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. He does all of them. And then the theme song for this show and all of the shows here at Old Man Gaming is provided by the man who makes the music, my brother, Nick Van Sliders. We thank him for that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment, and that is fan interaction. That's where us, the co-hosts, talk to you guys, the fans. We answer all your questions in all the places we find them or remember to find them. And we basically just, we talk to you guys. That's what we do. That's all we can offer really here because we're very bad at this, so we're very interactive. That's how it works. I keep using this hand, and it's not on the camera. Like I'm gesturing with this hand over here, and it's not on the thing. It's driving me nuts. I gotta have gestures. That's how I work, man. I'm a gesture guy. Good start.
It's gonna be abuse on camera.
Yeah, I don't think our trial will get as much attention as Heard. Okay, here we go. So, into this thing. First and foremost, we had Asylum66. Did you play Death Stranding? It's actually an addicting game. I made fun of it until I played it.
Isn't this what you just told me about?
What? No. Dislikes what I told you about.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Now we're going to have to talk about it in
I'm
between.
sorry.
Because they don't know. They're going to be like, he plays Dislike? What the shit is that?
I'm sorry.
I play some shovelware crap right now, guys. That's what's happening.
Finish
yeah, I know. You definitely.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. That's part of the show. It's part of the process. Did you play Death Stranding? It's actually an addicting game. I made fun of it until I played it. The engine of wearing down the ground and creating paths could be used in many games as a nice addition. No, I didn't play it, Asylum. I'm not going to play anything from Hideo Kojima. And while I like you being on this, no. Death Stranding's bullshit. That guy is bullshit. He's full of his own bullshit. He walks around with his head up his own ass. I'm not going to contribute to a Norman Reedus monster commercial for fucking 20 hours. Not going to happen.
Don't be so mean.
I'm sorry. I'm very avid when it comes to Death Stranding.
Jesus.
Asylum can take it. He can take it. He's the one who told me he likes to argue. So, there you go. We'll go with Asylum's extra other one. I'll be nicer on this one, maybe. You put them on a hook to sacrifice them, not to watch them bleed out. Off the Hook was created due to Rule 34 being very popular with DBD, Dead by Daylight. It's ridiculous, poor humanity. I don't know what Rule 34 is there, Asylum. I'm hoping that... Have you ever heard of that? It might be a Dead by Daylight thing. So this is referred to. There is this massive multiplayer competitive horror game called Dead by Daylight, where it's asymmetrical, meaning one player plays a killer who has his own special powers, and then the other 4 players play survivors who have to try and escape this scenario while the killer's hunting them. Part of it is the killer has to wear your health down Once your health is down, he has to pick you up, take you, and slap you on a hook. And you have so much time on the hook before you're dead, where other survivors can come and pull you off the hook to keep you alive.
What good would you be then? You'd still be bleeding out.
It's a video game. There's some definite. Yeah, I mean, they hit him with an axe like 4 times. Then they put him on the hook, and it's like, what's the point of the hook, man?
Right.
But still, it's a very popular. And honestly, as far as the gameplay go, you can yawn. Yeah, it's fine. I yell at Neil for it. I'm not going to yell at you for it. Not after today. It's a very popular multiplayer game, and it is quality. I think they do some good balancing, though they miss some things, as I'm sure Asylum could host a podcast on Dead by Daylight. He loves Dead by Daylight. But they're making a dating sim where you get to date the serial killers through the sim. It's called Off the Hook. And I made a point of pointing it out for him. That's what he's referring to, the Off the Hook game.
Does he know that he could talk to someone?
What?
Like, if that's, like, therapy.
Well, he's not. He doesn't like Off the Hook.
Just saying.
He doesn't like Off the Hook. I'm mocking him for that.
I'm kidding.
I thought it would.
I mean, therapy's great. But.
I thought the only thing that would be good about that game is if, like, once you finished romancing whatever serial killer you chose to romance, at the very end, they just stab you to death. Because they're serial killers. Like, that's the only thing that should end.
Some serial killers have relationships, right?
Yeah, that's true. So you think you would be the whole game would be about being the serial killer's basically kill beard?
Yeah. Well, no, like, I remember watching a documentary, I don't remember which serial killer it was, but, like, the daughter is like,
right.
He was my dad. We grew up, my mom and my brother, and we had no idea that he was murdering people on the weekends.
You're very affable. You're good at podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do a podcast with you, but I don't know what it would be about.
Because we have nothing in common.
We do have some things in common. Bachelorette.
Almost 11 years married, and we have nothing in common.
And Big Brother, we have in common.
Well, yeah, shitty reality
We do.
TV.
We do. We have been married for 11 years, and we have very little.
We have very little in common.
It's kind of crazy. It works, though. It works. Yeah. We think. I don't know. Maybe she's about to divorce me.
I mean, whatever. Childcare is expensive.
All right.
That hurt. That was painful.
That hurt. That made me feel bad. I don't go upstairs and cut myself a little bit. That's terrible. All right, William Holen. Hi! Exclamation point.
Are you saying his name correctly?
Yeah.
Oh,
I actually made sure to pronounce it right.
I was going to say,
right.
like, have you asked him?
The first time I did it, I was like, I don't know if I'm getting this right. Please correct me. And he was like, actually, you were pretty good. And then he actually hyphenated it out. It's William Holen.
Holen.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
He's one of our most regular commenters.
Cool. And
he always starts with the high exclamation point, and it just makes my day. It's so positive. Even when his posts are negative, it's just that, hi! I'm like, yes! Go get food. Go get milk. Go get your brother a Pokemon game. Said no one ever. I'll play that for her.
Said no mom ever.
Said no mom ever. I will play that for her in between. She does not know she doesn't always listen to our show. She does sometimes. Rarely.
Sorry.
Why did you go you real quick to be like, rarely? I had already covered it. And we're like, just so everyone knows.
I mean, I don't want to misrepresent.
It's less than sometimes.
I don't want to misrepresent. So people expect more out of me than I'm able to give, because I'm sorry, it is rare.
Phil, our opener was Phil telling the story about how when he was younger, he was so afraid of being a nerd that, like, to get his Pokemon games, he would have his friend's little brother go into the store to buy him the Pokemon games, or he would pretend to be on the phone with his mom, like he was buying it for his little brother, but, like, he was like, oh, she always makes me do stuff, blah, blah, blah.
Phil, my brother? Phil?
Yeah, oh yeah. You didn't know that story? He's told me that story before. Yeah, when he was...
That's so sad. My parents are assholes.
Well, and he's... Well, it's not even just your parents. He was just in different circles. He actually said... it was like, it's weird. When you're a kid, it seems to matter. Yeah. And then you realize nobody gives a shit.
Cares.
It was part of the joke where, like, he was like, I'm going out of my way to make sure this guy at Walmart who's running the electronics station doesn't have...
2 shits.
And the guy at Walmart probably has 3 Pokemon games at home. He's going to go home and light a doobie up. And, like,
Have a good time.
To continue with the comment, you're right, Zach. There's still many ideas out there. I misspoke there. Let me try that again. Ideas that get realized are a rare thing nowadays. Also, long live indie games. Long live the indie games. Thanks, Phil Billy, for the wrestling warning. So, I'll explain. So can you go off? So can I go off topic a bit? Of course, always. I guess Zach's not a fan of the Tales of series, as they are JRPG. But maybe Neil is. I wish Neil was here this time. I'll make sure to ask him on next week's. Anyway, I played many Tales of games over the years, but never played Tales of Vesperia. I am playing the definitive edition right now, and I am having such a blast. I guess I was in the right mood for it. So that's it for my little off-topic comment. If you're a fan of JRPG, go play Tales of Vesperia if you haven't yet. Thanks for the show. Thank you for the comment, William. That is true. I am not a JRPG person. I'll make sure to ask Neil about it next week. Definitely. And always feel free to go off topic. We rarely stay on topic. Why should you have to? The thanks for the Phil Billy warning is I've been pimping my game coming out. And Will had said, like, so happy for you. Wrestling and card games don't do anything for me, so I can't really help you there. And I had said, I don't mind. Like, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But I was like, but if you hang out with me ever, I will get you to like wrestling. And I told him, not her. She's tough. She's the wall, man. But I told her I'm like the Pied Piper of nerds. And I had said, this was 2 weeks ago, I had said, Phil Billy can speak for me for this. He was not a nerd before he met me, and now he is of the highest fashion of nerd. And Phil had come on and just said, he's like, I knew who Stone Cold was, and then I met Zach, and now I know all the divisions, all the leagues. He was like, I had never tried an RPG. I met Zach. I'm in a basement rolling 20-sided dices. Like he is the Pied Piper. I am.
I will say it was quite surprising to me when my brother even agreed to play a role-playing game. Like whatever, I don't care, but not something that would typically be in his character. Although,
and he has now been in the standing game 4 years.
While I am not into wrestling, I did have some interest in the reality shows.
That's true.
I did get into Total Divas and the Bellas. What was it? Total Bellas, whatever.
Total Bellas, Total Divas. Yeah.
So I did enjoy that.
And
Ms. and Mrs. But I really feel that that's more of my reality show. Yeah. Ridiculousness.
Yeah, the wrestling stuff is interesting. I think if you gave it a chance, you'd like it, but like
I've watched it with you. You act like I never have ever watched. I've watched.
You've watched a couple episodes.
Yeah, I've watched many episodes.
It's not for her, guys. It's not for her. I can't get them all.
Pay-per-views.
I can't get them all. Yeah, I can't get them all. All right, guys. Well, that is it for fan interaction. We're gonna get to the odds and ends.
Can you just scroll, or is that it?
That's it. We only have 3 this week.
Oh.
Thanks for pointing out the lack of
I'm
comments.
sorry.
You're killing this right
Comment more.
Anything else you want to point out? No, I never watched it. Like, sometimes it's too much. And now you only have 3 comments? Like,
I'm sorry.
Is this what you waste your Sunday night on? Okay. Okay.
All
right. That's too many comments. Now
I'm sorry.
You're at
I
like
don't know
7.
what it is. Like
I can let a couple
sorry.
go, but Jesus. All right, guys.
I'm not even that tired.
We're gonna get into the odds and ends, and a bunch of them Melissa doesn't even know about. I do, like I said, guys. I've been a little bit out of everything the last couple of weeks, so I don't have a ton of stuff. But we'll talk about it. We'll see what you guys think, and we'll see what she thinks. Probably not a whole lot, and then we'll be done. So we'll be right back.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to a very short odds and ends. Like I said, guys, we're not going to be doing a lot. We wanted to talk to you guys. We want to make sure we had a show, so this is what we're doing. So we've got a couple of odds. I've just realized none of these things, like really none of these things are going to interest Melissa at all. But she's here.
That I am.
So, first and foremost, and this is what I'm going to have to rediscuss with Neil next week. But
I'm taller than you. His chair is way
no,
lower.
you aren't. I'm 6'3". You're not taller than me.
Right now I am.
PlayStation is going all shows. That's what they're going for. They have decided to enter into the
like streaming shows.
Yes, streaming shows. Horizon Zero Dawn, one of their more recent games, is getting a TV show on Netflix. God of War is getting a show on Amazon Prime, and they're doing a Gran Turismo show. Just so you know, Gran Turismo is a racing game. So very interesting stuff. They are going very multimedia on things. I think it's dumb.
Well, it's all licensing.
It is all licensing.
It's not dumb. That's money.
They do need money. They do need money if they're going to continue to put out the outwardly we're competing with Xbox thing,
right,
because they're not making money. I don't know if this, personally, some of this kind of feels like a way to combat the train that is Microsoft that's just buying everything.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't know anything about these games, but that's just them bringing in more viewers, more people to their company overall, and then watch there be merch based on the TV shows.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean...
They need to be good, though. I'm going to say this, man. I'm a staunch preacher of the fact that not everything, like the highest level of multimedia is not shows and movies. It's just not, especially now. Video games are higher grossing than movies and TV shows combined. They make more money than that at this point. So why is it that, like, we need to start making movies out of games? Why can't the game just be what the game is? Instead, and I'm not saying no crossover ever, because there's definitely some success stories out there. Sonic right now is having, a success story. But, like, I hate the fact that it's like, oh, we got to make this into a movie. Even the games that are the most linear, that are like a story, level-based stories, you still play it differently.
Right.
So it's never going to feel the same to you when you watch an actor do it. That's something that always bothers me about this, and I feel like you really need to get these things right, and I think that's a hard thing to do in this kind of space.
It's, I mean, again, knowing nothing about it, feels like it's like a grasping at straws situation. Yeah. Because how many movies are put out based on video games that are just
terrible?
Yeah.
And we just had the Halo series for Paramount.
Yeah, did that do well?
Well, IGN liked it, but IGN just loves to suck everybody's dicks. A lot of the Halo kind of like the staunch Halo community is not a huge fan of it. They did a lot of changes to Master Chief
that you run into,
things.
And I think that like not video game movie, comic book movies, like when Marvel, like the first Iron Man movie, that whole like the MCU, and then I feel like they somehow overcame the fanboys. Like they found a niche, they found a way to overcome the fanboys from hating it because it didn't follow the source material exact, and yet still draw in these other people. Yeah. And I mean, I was one of those people. Like, I don't give two shits about the comics. I enjoy those movies for the movies that they are. Whereas, I mean, we've had this conversation. You'll walk out of a movie and be like, well, this was different, this was different, this was different from the comic. You can still appreciate the movie. Yeah. So they brought that in, and I feel like, and then again, you have all the licensing for the merch and all the other bullshit that goes with it. Right. Video games are just trying to do the same thing, and it's rare that they're successful.
It has to be a specific situation, and I think that you have a really interesting issue, because video games don't tell stories like that, and that's something that people. That's something that I always go back to, like with comics, with books.
There's stories.
There's stories. They're
at their root.
Right. video games are one of the only is the only art form that I can think of that you create, like you interact with it. Like everything else is presented to you. It is aimed at you. It is brought to you for your viewing, and you can interpret it how you want, and you can make assumptions and thoughts about it as you would wish. Like, oh, I think this meant this or this meant this, but it's a thing being presented to you. Gaming, it presents it to you so that you can then present yourself to it. There is a communication between gaming and the player that just doesn't exist with the other things. So doing a movie off that is tricky to me because it's never going to present in the way.
It takes away that interactive. Yeah. I think there could be an argument that music would be another art form, but not as direct. It would depend on your involvement.
Music is presented to you, though.
Unless you're a musician.
Well, and that's fair, so you could learn the music and then change it a little bit. I get that, but, like, it's still as an art form.
I mean, I see your point. I'm just saying, like, I could see maybe that being one other, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
It sounds like a grasping at straws, or just let's see how much money we can make on this. I mean, somebody thought it was a good enough idea to throw, some production companies throwing money at it.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure it's probably through Sony.
I wish they do, and I've always said this, I wish they do side stories. Like, I'd always wish they do, like the Horizon show shouldn't be about Aloy, the main character. The Horizon show should be about somebody else in that world.
Right, like a side character.
Yeah, like build the universe almost.
Yeah. And
I like it when it does stuff like that, and they rarely do because the problem is because they want that notoriety of the character. But yeah, so PlayStation is doing that. I really will be interested to see what these are. Me and Neil have talked quite a bit about Horizon. Horizon was a new IP. At the same time Breath of the Wild came out. The second one has just come out, and we both kind of was hoping, like, because it was a big problem with video games right now is everything's a franchise.
Right.
You either have...
Same problem in movies.
I mean, kind of. There's still some new ideas coming out of movies. We did talk about that last week. There's a lot of franchises.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to bet on new stuff, but at the same time, like, especially in games, like, you look at Halo. Halo's in 6. The first one was made like 20 years ago.
I was going to say, Halo's been around
forever. Half the people watching Halo don't even know what Halo, you know what I mean? Why are we making Halo 7? But they never want to take that bet on the new IPs.
Was Halo, like the red versus blue?
Oh, yeah.
That was Halo,
Yeah,
right?
that was Halo, yeah. That was, I mean, that wasn't directly Halo. That was
no,
Halo.
I know, but that was like the game that was played. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Which those ads, anyway, for that show, is it a show or a movie? That looks nothing like what I remember watching or seeing when you would watch
the
Red versus Blue.
And then nothing like it.
So
and
I imagine the game has evolved that much more.
Master Chief's boning people, which doesn't even make sense. It's very confusing. All right. So moving on, Nintendo has decided to continue to keep up with its whole demo policy, which is something that I've always enjoyed. And the Mario Strikers Battle League, the third in the series, has a demo out right now. You can download it. You can only play the practice stuff, and because it is a primarily multiplayer game, the demo will be timed. You need to go to Nintendo for the actual times. I don't have them in front of me. But yeah, it has a demo, and I love this. I love this trend that Nintendo has had of putting a demo out ahead of it. Kirby got one.
Oh, that's
Monster Hunter World got one. Monster Hunter Stories got one. Like, a lot of their games have gotten demos across. Metroid Dread, like a lot of their big name brand franchises get a playable demo a couple of weeks ahead of its release. I am excited for Battle Strikers, but it's not one I'm probably going to get just because it so heavily leans into the multiplayer, which is a little bit of a bummer for me. Just because I don't... It's a cool idea, but I don't have 5 friends who play Switch all the time, like, to be in it. I just don't. Especially since the Switch...
You probably do. You just don't want to play with them.
Well, the problem with the Switch, too, is it's notoriously terrible at multiplayer stuff. Like,
really?
Oh, it has terrible connection issues, but aside from its connection issues, there's, like, no mic support. So, like, how do you even talk to them? It's not something that I love the idea of.
Yeah, we don't even have a microphone for our Switch, do we?
No, you can get headset on it. It only just recently got the capability to attach Bluetooth to it.
Oh.
Yeah, so like it's not made for that. And Battle Strikers is all about, like, Battle League is all about the multiplayer. Like, you start a club and you go online and you play with your club mates against other people, and it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to do that? Get my phone out and be on Discord too? Like, it's ridiculous. All right. That out of the way, I'm going to do a little extra one that I got some terrible negative shit to say about. And I know Neil would bring this up because he loves to bring up shit about this. But Phil Spencer recently has decided to recognize the union created at Raven Software. Basically, recently, Raven Software, one of the subsidiary studios of Blizzard, moved to form a union. Nobody was recognizing that shit. Now Phil Spencer has decided to recognize it, which means that it will be the first fully recognized AAA union in gaming. I got some problems with this, ladies and gentlemen. You wouldn't, of course, you're not surprised because I'm a negative Nancy with this stuff. Why didn't he recognize this in the first place? He had already purchased Blizzard. He had already was going through the motions. Why didn't he say right off the bat, I will recognize this? You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because he needed to get all of his little guys, I'm still gesturing with the wrong fucking hand, all of his little guys to run around and do all the work to see if he could get away with not recognizing it and not lose profit sharing and PR and shit like that. There is no reason that, I mean, we're what? We're like 8 months out of that hearing about that purchase?
It's a while.
Like, and I know it's been held up by like...
It hasn't closed yet, though. They haven't closed on their purchase.
They're still going through the motions of paying off the FTC and that sort of thing.
That should have been his number one publicity grab.
Yeah.
I'm going to recognize, especially what they're coming off of.
But he doesn't want to deal with the union because he's a greedy bitch. And that's the thing. Anybody out there who thinks Phil Spencer's great, he's just as greedy bitch as anybody else. And this is coming from an ex-Phil Spencer lover. I loved Phil Spencer back in the day. He was my favorite dude to see on these E3s. I loved everything he was doing in gaming. He is really good at presenting a front of being your best friend, man. I'm just one of the guys. I'm just one of the gamers, man. I just love gaming. He doesn't. He's a Scrooge McDuck just like all of them. Just like all of them. He smelled blood in the water with this whole sexual assault thing, and he literally capitalized on human rights violations. That's what he did. And now he has waited until the 9th hour to decide that this union is okay when he could have said right off the bat, well, we're going to recognize it when the deal's closed. Because Blizzard was like, we're not going to recognize this. He could have just been like, well, we are when the deal's closed. When you're mine, we'll recognize it. He could have said that day one. But he has waited till now to say it. And that's bullshit. Because he's just trying to make things easier for himself and smoother for this deal to go through. That's it. Do you disagree in any way, shape, or form?
No, I sadly am interested in if this deal does actually go through.
It's going.
Seeing how he actually, what he does to truly recognize it, or if suddenly there's people who slowly, quietly go away and they all happen to be the union organizers or members or whatever.
Well, and I give props for it even getting this far.
Yeah,
I had said in the first.
surprising.
I had said at first when they were first starting to form this union, and he bought it. I was like, he has just literally cut off. Like as great as it is that they're all gonna, like, he took the bad guy away. The minute he took the bad guy away, the union's not gonna go through.
Right.
You know. So like I feel like he really undercut things, and he's just trying to get through this so he can either buy EA or buy Ubisoft, who have both said they're looking to be sold. That's all he's doing, so that he can get the market. All right, so moving on to possibly more positive things. No Man's Sky, a game that what are you looking at?
It is freezing now. Is that
cold.
vent closed?
No, that's open. Oh, it does close.
Will it close?
Yeah, it'll close.
It's cold down.
It'll close it. It gets real cold because it never actually warms up down here. Why do you think I got a heater down here?
Well, no, I know.
It gets very cold. All right.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so No Man's Sky, a game I'm very, very, very positive on. This is a game that came out to lukewarm reception. They had not lived up to their promises, but they hunkered down. They shut their mouths, unlike other companies, and they've continued to build this game over the last 6 years. It's been absolutely phenomenal to watch. They are doing something I didn't think possible. They're putting that thing on the Switch. How, guys? How? I don't know how. It's insane. I'm assuming it's going to be through game streaming. I can't imagine any other way, which means that the quality will not be super great. But the fact that they are putting this on the Switch is just blowing my mind. That game is absolutely massive. It was massive when it first launched. It hasn't stopped being massive. And the processing power that it requires via all of its procedural generation, I don't know how they're doing this. I really don't.
I don't know anything about No Man's Sky.
Well, other than what I've said, right?
I can't recall exactly. Okay. What is No Man's Sky? Can you give me
No Man's Sky?
Brief.
That's the game where it basically procedurally generates the entire universe.
Oh yeah.
And like you can fly from space to the planet
and you can
back
like create
out
your own
seamlessly.
planet and stuff.
You don't create your own planet, but you land on it. You get to discover all this stuff with it. You can name it whatever you want.
And other people can go.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody's discovering the galaxy. I do remember you telling me about that. Okay. Like the what's interesting about the game is the game itself, the galaxy in the game is actually bigger than anybody could actually discover all of it.
I do remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was cool. I really wanted it. It was only coming out on PlayStation.
Didn't you play it or get it or something
Yes.
and it wasn't what you like?
No, I loved it.
Did you?
Yes. Okay, so it came out for PlayStation. It sucked. That's what you're probably thinking about.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of stuff that just wasn't in it yet.
I remember.
Like a lot of stuff got cut, and a lot of the things that like Sean McMurray, who runs Hello Games, a lot of the stuff he had promised just wasn't in there. So they just hunkered down and kept working on it. It came out of their exclusivity deal for PlayStation, and then they released it to Xbox, and they called it No Man's Sky Next. Okay. And with that release, they dropped just a ton of the stuff that they had wanted to add. They had already added a bunch of stuff, but they added a bunch of new stuff. And then since then, they have literally made an update to that game every 4 months with a substantial new feature or new thing to it. They have added revised space combat, more spaceships, more scenarios with space stations, different types of animals, underwater research, underwater
night. That on
Switch. Yeah. Now do you see? Yeah, getting it? It's just like, how? But they say it's almost done. They say they're in post-production on the Switch version.
Interesting.
Yes. And this final one you will know nothing about. Nothing about. There's a game that has just come out. Just want to let everybody know. It is called Roller Champions. It is a game that I was very interested in. Ubisoft debuted it a few years ago, maybe 2. And then it went into early access for a while. It's out of early access. This game is really cool. I really want to play it. Here's my problem. Is while you can get it for free on any of the consoles, it's free to play. It's multiplayer, so have some friends. You need 3 people total in your team to play.
Have some friends.
I mean, you do. It's cool. It's like roller derby on steroids. Basically, like there's like a circular roller derby track. You could go either way. There's a ball, and then you play a skater trying to get to it on a team of 3. And then every time you go around, like make a full round without getting knocked out and taking your ball away, you multiply the score that you would get if you hit it in this basket. Okay? So you have to decide whether you want to just get the 1 point or try and up it. Okay. And then it's like 1st to 5 wins. And then but you can ram into each other and hit each other and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Are you playing against other people teams or? Okay.
Yeah, no AI. It's all player. Here's the problem. Here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. It is free to play. Go out and try it. I really wanted to try it. I just can't have more games on another freaking thing. And on PC, the only way to play it is through the Ubisoft Connect app. And I just don't want another freaking app. I got my Steam. I got Epic Store. And I got Game Pass. I don't want another one. And I would have to go on this one and do another one, and I'd have to convince 2 other people to go on and do it when literally no one I know uses that app. Nobody uses that app. I have one game on it because I wanted Watch Dogs Legion that bad, and it was worth it. But other than that, and I didn't even buy it on there. That's what's crazy about it. I bought it on the Epic Store, but the Epic Store is so fucking broken that it wouldn't download on the Epic Store, even though I bought it. But Ubisoft Connect recognized that I had purchased it.
I remember you.
So I went on to Ubisoft Connect and downloaded it through there. It was real frustrating.
I remember you telling me about that.
Real frustrating. Epic Store, fix your shit. Like, fix your shit if you want to be a competitor to Steam. But that's the only thing I have on there. The only other thing I ever played on there was the beta for that Extreme Sports one, that Riders Republic. I played a beta of that. It's the only other thing I played on there. I definitely, I don't want to convince Philbilly, who probably isn't even going to like the game, and somebody else to download Ubisoft Connect so that they can get this game. I don't want to put it on Steam and Epic. I don't understand why you haven't. Like, you're taking money out of your own mouths, Ubisoft. Please, man. Because the only way those kind of free-to-play games make money is by being in people's faces. Yeah. Because the microtransactions is where they make everything. Yeah. You're taking away a lot of audience. There's nobody wants to play on Ubisoft. Put it on other places. But it's also on console. So go check it out if it sounds good to you. It sounds really fun to me. I'm not willing to do that to myself. I'm just not. Is there anything you want to add to odds and ends? Because I'm all done. That's the last one I had.
I have no odds nor ends.
It's a good way of putting it. It's a good way of putting it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna come back with plugs real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. Like I said, it's gonna be a short show. Next week we'll be back to normal. I promise. It's just this week. It's just crazy, crazy. So we'll be right back.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that brings us to the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Melissa, yes. Van Sliders, my beautiful, lovely wife, smartest woman I know. Is there anything you would like to plug to the OMG Nation?
No, I'm very boring. Sorry.
Plug your title company.
If you are in Ohio and need title services, which people probably don't even know what this is.
You do. If you're buying a house, you need it.
Yeah.
And tell your realtor. Your realtor's going to be like, oh, it's just get a key. Because they get a deal. They get a kickback from the title company. You tell them, no, I want Standing Rock Title because Melissa Van Sliders is the greatest real estate paralegal on the face of this fucking planet. And I will literally fist fight to the death anyone who says otherwise. Mm-hmm. You make them do that.
Okay.
Sorry, continue your plug.
Melissa at standingrocktitle.com is my email. Feel free.
I will, though. I'll fight them to the death.
Okay.
I mean, they'll definitely kill me, but...
Your death, not
yeah.
theirs.
I'll just, like, limp in, like old man hands. All right. So this has been fun. As far as me... guys, again, working on my game. Axiom Games LLC, Upper Hand, Wrestling, Tabletop RPG. You can go to Axiom Games on YouTube or Axiom Games on Facebook to check us out. We're getting closer. I do development diaries every Monday. I also post it here on the channel just because I want more people to see it. But we're getting closer. We're getting real close.
Are people watching those?
Yeah, people are. I mean, not a gazillion people, but some people are watching. Yeah, so please, and tell your friends if they're interested in something like that. We need to sell at least enough to make back what we've put in.
Which is not much.
Which is not much, but it still worries me. We need to make that much.
Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, please a little bit more. Please, because I want to make more games. I don't want to go back to a day job. Help me. All right. So that's it. Oh, a couple more plugs, if you guys don't mind. I mean, if you do, just turn this thing off. You have that right. But it already happened if you're listening to or watching this. But me and Phil are doing Wildermyth 330. I'm super excited about it. I can't believe he likes that game as much as he does, and I love that game. So we're gonna try and stream it every so often, and that's a lot of fun. Amateur Hour Tuesday nights. I'm also still trying to do the Grounded on Tuesday day with Jason. That was a lot of fun. I'm still enjoying that. And then, of course, the lunch stream Skyrim on Wednesdays. Everything else you guys know about. And then finally, this is an Axiom, a Star Trek Axiom week. So Wednesday night at 9:30 on Aether Dios' Twitch. AETHERDEUS. Check him out for the live version.
Does he just like put some Scrabble tiles in a bag?
Aether Dios. Aether is like it's like, I'll explain it. It's nerd stuff. Yeah, I do too. Pied Piper the Nerds here. 9:30 for the live stuff. Myself, obviously Aether, Seatown. Scorn Mandark, Mark, the guy who makes our images, and another guy. We all play Star Trek. It's a lot of fun. I'm game mastering it. And then check back here on Friday for the VOD, video on demand, if that's the way you want to watch. All right, I'm done. I've plugged enough, I think. It's time to wrap this thing up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you can also contact us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Link is in the description below. Influence this and all of our shows from there. Ladies and gentlemen, as long as you keep watching and listening, we'll keep making it.
Bye.
Still gesturing with one hand. Still gesturing with one hand.
What is that?
Okay, so now I can explain it. The boulder was going down the hill already, but like the editing of when it's video is way more different than the audio. So like the audio was much easier to find the place in between. This not so much, because I have to work basically backwards.
Right.
So what I end up doing is I made this for myself, and I give myself a huge count with this up, so that when I'm skipping through the video on the edit, when I see that thing, I know that I'm in between.
Gotcha.
That's the trick. That's the trick, Melissa.
I see.
That's the behind-the-scenes podcasting trick.
Wouldn't it be better to sync up the video and the audio and then cut them together?
So the way we do it with the video, with the audio, with it right now, I guess this will be probably the most boring opening or bonus ever, but the way we used to do it was we would record an audio version through a phone call.
Right.
And then I would overlay pictures for the YouTube version in the certain places, but I would go through the audio version, I'd cut out the in-betweens that I wanted to use for bonuses, put it before, after. Then I would edit out that to one MP3, because I also have to add the transitions and the theme song. Then after that, I would drop down, put a video bar in, and then add all the pictures.
Okay.
The way I have to do it now, though, because the pictures are already there, is I have to cut it so that, like, because you can't just, with the pictures, it's very easy to just slap the song in where you need it, because you slap it in on the audio file. You can't do that. You have to slap it in as an audio file, and then you have to find a place for it in the video. So you have to cut it. But what's weird is if you've cut something over here already, and you start to move this thing, it starts to overwrite the thing that you've already cut if you haven't moved it around. So you have to go backwards. You have to cut it from the top down so that you can then place all the stuff in. And that's the tricky. Now, I'm probably going to use this.
Sounds very obnoxious.
It is. Editing is obnoxious. It's fun. It is nice to make it work the way you want it to. It's kind of tricky. There is moments where it's like, oh, I got to spend an hour doing this?